Hello, my name is Dr. Evan Anton, and I'm here to talk about what is often regarded as a controversial topic. And I just want to shed some light from my perspective. I've been working with animals, I've been working with wildlife, I've been working with exotics for a very long time, and I've seen and done a lot. And I just want to shed some light on my perspective in the world of zoos. Okay, a lot of people think zoos are a negative thing. A lot of wildlife advocates don't believe in zoos. A lot of people don't believe in wildlife in captivity whatsoever. And I just want to share my thoughts on that and give you my perspective and let you, the viewer, make an educated decision and choose what you think and what you choose to believe in. Real quick, this is my mangrove snake. Very beautiful snake. Figured, hey, it'd be fun to have a little exotic prop for this video. And so we're just hanging out. You're drooling a little bit. And so we're just hanging out and making this video. Okay, so with zoos and exotics belonging or not belonging in captivity, I can kind of see that if the world was a very different place. Now the truth is mankind has been responsible for the destruction and loss of so many habitats and so many species. Okay, and this comes from overhunting, poaching, habitat destruction, human development, introduction of non-native species, I think I said pollution, the list goes on. And so these things have done a real number to a lot of ecosystems and habitats around the world and affected and really negatively affected a lot of species around the world and even caused many to go extinct. So if that wasn't the case, then okay, maybe these animals don't necessarily belong in captivity, but the reality of the situation is that's not the case. And to be honest, in my opinion, zoos are one of, if not the strongest force in trying to make up for that. Okay, they do a lot of positive things towards wildlife conservation, and I just want to kind of list out some of those things for you. Before I get into that, I'm not saying every zoo is a good thing, a good place. Okay, I've been to many negative, sad zoos, and they're more of a circus sideshow, tourist trap joke, and it just seems like it's animals in not the best conditions, and these places are just trying to make money, and they're not really doing anything towards the conservation of wildlife and the conservation of a lot of these species. Okay, I'm talking about good quality zoos that are doing good things. They've got quality enclosures and they do a lot for conservation. I'm going to tell you why right now. First off, there are a lot of animals that actually are extinct in the wild. And the only way that they're still on our planet today is because of zoos and breeding programs in zoos. Okay, so that's something I think that speaks for itself. If we didn't have these zoos, we wouldn't have these animals. Enough said. That's super important. Okay, moving on to, in regards to the animals in the zoos, they are taking one for the team. Okay, they are an ambassador for their species. I couldn't say it better than that. They're truly an ambassador for their species. They are the ones that allow people and children, very importantly children, to gain a real connection with them. Okay, a zoo is the only place that 99.999% of children are actually going to be able to look at a gorilla in the eyes, okay, or see a tiger, acting in its enclosure, or see, all the animals that you see in a zoo. There's just no way you'd see it. It's not as feasible to go to Uganda or Indonesia or, Central America. Most people can't do that. I'm very lucky and very fortunate that I have done a lot of those things. Most people can't, and I have a respect and understanding for that. Zoos are providing this means of people to gain that connection. And when you look into the eyes of these animals and you see them in their element, it's a really special thing. And that's something that makes you actually care about these animals. That gives you an invested interest in them. If you never had that connection, you might never have that interest, and you might never have the desire to help conserve them in the future. So that is extremely important, okay? Moving on from that, zoos provide millions in funding towards wildlife conservation and wildlife care and research for a lot of wild species, including critically endangered and a lot of threatened species around the world. Okay, if it wasn't for these zoos that were really trying to help out, we'd lose a lot of those species too, not just the ones that are bred in captivity. Okay, so that's extremely important. That's huge. I mean, that also, I think, goes without saying. That's extremely valuable, and I don't know if a lot of people realize how much effort, time, funding, research, everything is put into these other parts of the world from a lot of these quality major zoos. I think it's also important to note that zoos, many zoos have awesome educational programs. Okay, and these programs are geared heavily towards children. Again, the youth, that's the most important thing to take interest. That's our future. And we want our future to care about these animals, so we want to educate them about these animals. And again, help them make a connection, help give them an interest, and help get them stoked and excited about these animals in an effort to hopefully, eventually, even if it's a very small percentage of them, want to help conserve these animals. That's very important. So that's another very special thing that is something that zoos do. In short, zoos are extremely important for long-term survival of many species. That, again, is through people getting the connection personally, the money they fund towards the research and conservation, the educational programs, everything. We have zoos to thank for that. They're a very positive, good place. I strongly believe in zoos. Not every zoo is perfect. In fact, probably no zoo is absolutely perfect. Okay, every zoo, even the best zoos, they're going to have enclosures and things, and they're like, oh, you know what, maybe this species shouldn't be in captivity, and that goes for very few species, but there are maybe some. Maybe this enclosure is not the best or the biggest or ideal for this animal. Again, none of them are perfect, but really, the good ones really are doing their best. And they have to delegate funding for their staff, their animals, their research, the education, everything. And it's, there's not always enough. And so, you have to also be thankful for contributors and people that donate to zoos and organizations like that. That's super important. But again, they're a very positive thing. And you got to look at the flip side, okay? This is very important too. Being a wild animal in the wild is not rainbows and sunshine and butterflies, okay? It's not this beautiful picture that we like to paint when we think of, the Nature Channel and things that show these animals, living in their element in the wild. The truth is, being a wild animal is a fight to survive. It is eat or be eaten. Every day is a struggle. Every day is extremely stressful. Every day they might lose their life. That's something that you need to know, okay? And so when we have these zoos that are doing things right, and they've got these awesome enclosures, and these animals have great stimulating enrichment, and they have good lives, and they're safe, and they've got veterinary care, and they've got quality diets. I mean, is that such a bad thing? Overall, I don't think it is. Again, when it's done right. There are a lot of zoos that don't do it right. There's a lot of facilities and places that they're not in it for the right reasons, and the animals are living kind of a sad life, okay? But when it's done right, I think it's a beautiful thing. I hope this gains some perspective for you guys, coming from somebody that's in that field and has been around a lot of that, not just in the United States, but around the world. I've seen the good, the bad, and the ugly. And when it comes to the good, it's really good. It's really important. And I'm so thankful that we have these quality zoos that are truly making a massive difference and just making such a big impact for wildlife around the world. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for enjoying my snake, maybe as much as I do, maybe not. Okay. I hope this helps you gain perspective. If you didn't know much about zoos, I hope you learned something from this, and I hope you can realize that I promise you they're a very good thing. Thanks again, and you guys take care, and visit your local zoo. Support them. It's very important. That's going to helping wildlife. So go ahead and do that. And best of luck to you guys. Take care.